Hey, Chet Lampert, my journey to personal freedom. Been a couple days. Right now it's September 2nd, 2019. I guess I'm in South Florida. I'm in Sunrise, and down here right now we're going through a hurricane. It's actually off the coast of the Bahamas, the West End right now, and it's just been stationary all day long. So it's being pounded just for hours and hours and hours, and just goes to show you got to be prepared. You gotta make sure you have gas down here, ethanol free gas with stabilizer and a generator going. You gotta get your house in order, your car's taken care of. So I've been doing all that this past few days, and today I was able to work a lot. And because I really didn't have to do much hurricane stuff, just kind of a rainy, windy day, but not that bad here. But it's really bad in the Bahamas. I mean, they're getting 180 miles an hour down to 130 miles an hour all day long, and it's just been stationary in one spot in the island. Yeah, I feel bad for those guys. But last I spoke, I think I was having trouble with the Xilinx. The Xilinx I2C peripheral. Yeah, that's when I left it off. So I was done that night. I was smoking that pork. By the way, it turned out excellent. We had some friends over yesterday, so I was able to take Sunday off, kind of most of the day off, and have some friends over. So that was going wrong. So I thought about it that night. I didn't do any work, but I thought about it. So I decided, you know what? Forget that stupid thing. I'll try one more test in the morning, and then I'm gonna switch it out and do a GPIO I2C interface. Like I just do I'll toggle the lines individually myself, the GPIO lines, to make up the damn I2C interface, which is a huge amount of code, but I could do it. I just got to do it. So I spent the time, did it, figured out the sensor. Then I was in some sort of sleep mode. Finally, when I talked to it back and forth with the one line, it's an input output, so you got to transition it. It's all this nonsense with clocking and blah 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 blah. So finally, I'm talking to the device, and it's kind of responding, but it's giving me the right nax and ax and stuff. And then it gives me like it's in sleep mode. Then I read it's in sleep mode. So I was like, so I don't get any kind of sensor data. So then I gotta read the manual, blah, blah, blah. So I figured out how to get it out of sleep mode. I had to write these other commands in the GPIO interface to mimic the I2C. So got all that working. Finally, let's do sensor data. Then, figure that out. That takes forever. I got the XYZ accelerometer, XYZ gyroscope. That's all working good eventually. But it was a struggle, like all day long. I finally got to the point where I'm reading consistent data, but then I can't read any negative data. For some reason, it doesn't work in the negative. And then I found out I was clocking it too fast. It says it can go to 400 kilohertz, but that's probably with a really short wire. I have like a wire this long because I got to do a swing type of contraption, and I don't have everything self-contained, so I've got it with a long wire, so it can only do like 80 or 200 kilohertz on that data line. So I finally figured out, slowed it down. Then the sensor's data is good. Then I have to calibrate like how much acceleration is the max, how much rate of rotation is the max of the gyroscope, blah, 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 blah. Figure that out. Then I'm getting good data. Then I figure out how to rewrite the software so I can do the same sort of testing where I'm doing 20 tests with the circle versus non-circle. So I figure all that out. I got all that code done, and then I did some testing on getting a whole set of data out. That took forever. Got the data out. Then I realized, like, okay, well, maybe I need to verify that I'm never really hitting the peaks, the absolute max of the acceleration or gyroscope. And because I was really beaten on it, I was trying to like really stress test how I was spinning that stupid thing. This is the contraption down here. I can show you a little bit. Hold on. Yeah, let me just pick this up. So this is the contraption it's on. So I was like beating it hard and stuff, and seeing what the data was, and I was making sure that it could recognize that I was doing that, and it seemed like it could. So then I had to write, and then I had to change the code here on this test device so that it would, when it recognized this high stress event, like you railed out the accelerometer because you're beating on it too hard, it would print out, hey, stop hitting it so hard, you dummy, because you have to run the test again now. And the test, you don't want to run them again because it's a pain in the ass. You want to kind of stress it a little bit, but you don't want to rail it, it's no sense. We're just trying to get some data. And by the way, you're not going to be banging on a dancer's leg like that. That's the kind of stuff it takes to set that thing off. So if you don't do that, you're fine. Yeah, it's not like a punching sensor. I mean, I can generate that kind of stuff, but it's not what I'm trying to do. So then finally, I got all the way done to where now I can actually log my data again. So now I'm back where I got to just log all this data and do those 1,000 runs of the circle, non-circle, and hopefully the machine learning could learn from that, because it didn't learn from just a single axis gyroscope. So I'm hoping that it can learn, and if it doesn't learn, then then I'm pretty sure it's something I'm doing wrong in software and machine learning, because then I'll just research that more and see where it goes. I had to figure all this out. It's a lot of work. I mean, several days worth of work. Probably no. I mean, I busted my ass since the machine learning stuff stopped, and I've been busting my ass since before then. So I've really been put a lot of effort. So that's all I've done in the actual work. But hopefully those people in Bahamas are gonna be fine. We'll see how bad that area is damaged. That's where I go spearfishing sometimes with my friends, and go fishing over there too. And it's a cool place, but it's really getting hit hard. So I feel bad for those guys. Just another thing that's like a life lesson. You got to be prepared for that stuff. We got all the food we need here. We got gas. Got a generator that works. I test that I make sure to run that generator every couple months. Just be prepared, because you never know, especially down here in South Florida. You can get hurricanes every year, so you just get the gas, and when the hurricane season's over, you just use the gas in your car, so it's not a big deal. And you put stabilizer in it so it lasts for a year, and you only use it for like 4 months. It's not a big deal as long as you prepare. And hurricane windows, and got shutters in the townhouse, so if you're prepared, it's not that big a deal. And usually they don't hit, but if you're prepared, even if they do hit, you're fine. You're gonna get through it. You might have a damaged roof, but insurance covers that. So that's what insurance is for. So all right, well, that's all I've been doing. I spent a lot of time with my family on Sunday and yesterday, and we had some friends over. Yeah, that's because I was thinking about how hard I was working, and I was like, man, I got to take a day off, because it's a little bit too much. You can't kill yourself forever and ever. You have to take a good 1 day a week, at least most of the day off, and just enjoy your family. And that's what I tried to do. And definitely it's part of one of Jordan Peterson's lessons. He did the biblical series. He talked about Genesis, and he's like, even God had to take the Sabbath off and the seventh day off, and that's why the Jewish religion does it. And not because you believe, it doesn't matter if you believe that there's a God or not a God or whatever, or if it's important to take the day off. It's important just to recharge, and it's important to spend time with your family. This is important too. I'm trying to get my freedom, but if it's at the expense of losing my family and not being close to my family, it's not worth it. And I was working really hard, so I took most of the day off. I think I worked a few hours Sunday, maybe 3 hours, but it was when my daughter was watching TV anyway, and my wife was probably taking a nap, so it wasn't that big a deal. All right, well, that's all I had. Signing off. Chet Lampert, September 2nd, 2019. Hurricane Dorian's just at a doorstep. My journey to postal freedom. Bye.